Born in Blue Earth, Minnesota, Jim Hagedorn is running for the third time, hopefully the charm, for the 1st Congressional District. It's the Hagedorn's back-to-back campaigns follow successful similar efforts undertaken by former Minnesota Congressman John Klein, current Minnesota Congressman Colin Peterson, and former Speaker of the House, U.S. House Newt Gingrich. With Tim Walz leaving the seat open in the 1st Congressional District, this is the year for Tim to win the first. Jim to win the first. Everybody, Jim Hagedorn.
It's a pleasure to be here. I thank you for being out here and supporting the Second Amendment. I stand with you in the right of every law-abiding American to keep and bear arms. Elections have consequences.
Yes, they do.
Let's all be honest about that last one in 2016.
Whoa!
The future of our republic was on the ballot.
Yes, it was.
And by the grace of God, we've got an excellent president named Donald J. Trump. And we have a new Supreme Court Justice named Gorsuch. Had Hillary Clinton won that election, she would have stacked the Supreme Court with radicals who would have taken away our basic liberties. We would have ended up, I guess, like California, when you look at it in those terms.
That'd suck.
But thank goodness it wasn't meant to be. But just like in that last election, we're not out of the woods yet.
No.
It's very important that we maintain control of the U.S. House of Representatives in this next election to have a successful 3rd and 4th year of the Trump administration and to make sure we continue to protect our God-given rights. Down in our 1st district, which is that I-90 district of southern Minnesota, all the way from South Dakota to Wisconsin and Iowa up about 80 miles, we were on the ballot last time and we were very close to defeating that entrenched incumbent Walz. We had 49.6% of the vote. We kept going. Tim's out. He's doing something different to the point where now he's renounced all his NRA connections, given back his money. He's kind of a different candidate than when he ran down there in the 1st. But you know, the person that they just nominated, the Democrats, to replace him or try to replace him, yeah, that guy didn't get the memo as how you're supposed to run in southern Minnesota. You see, this isn't a gun control district down there. It's a keep and bear arms district. And the Democrat candidate, just as early as yesterday on NPR, talking about how he's going to do it different than Walz. He's for gun control, folks. He doesn't want the NRA's endorsement. He wants to fight the NRA. And then when he says, if you want to figure out what we should be doing in the future, well, let's look at examples of some of those foreign countries who have done some things on firearms. I'm thinking, really?
Yeah,
really?
right?
We're going to be like Australia and confiscate weapons? Or are we going to be like Europe, where they don't let anybody hold firearms except maybe some police officers? Heck no, this is the United States. We don't need to follow the leads of those countries. We have the Constitution. We have the Second Amendment, and we're going to defend it.
Hell yeah!
I'm on the side of the Second Amendment. I'm on your side, and I understand that more of these gun control initiatives that they're putting there, all it does is take away the rights of law-abiding Americans. That doesn't make us safe.
No.
What the liberals don't get is that there's evil. There are premeditated acts of murder and other things in our society. That's a bad thing. Thank goodness we have law enforcement out there doing everything to get those bad guys off the streets and people to prosecute them and put them in jail for as long as possible. That's what's important. But you know, in Minnesota, we have some history about how this isn't a firearms thing versus that. You know, we're at a record high for firearms ownership in Minnesota. We're at a record. There you go. We're at a record high for concealed carry permits in Minnesota.
Yeah!
And yet, we're at a 50-year low for violent crimes. What does that tell us? It tells us that good people, just like you, just like us, acting responsibly, we do make a difference, and we're an example for the nation in that. So folks, this is an important election. Let's go out there in November and win this thing. Let's defend our Constitution. Let's defend our Second Amendment. Let's defend America. Thank you very much.
I'm liking our odds in the first. Thanks. All right, our next speaker.